Right now, in this moment, if you are not referring to any ideas about who you are, you might try to define yourself from the perspective of the biology, that you are this body, the movements of your organs, the heart beating, the brain. So this is biologically you're trying to define yourself. So let's assume hypothetically that we have not yet studied the biological aspect of who we are, right? And of course we still continue to exist without the concepts of biology. It is true, but right now, for next few moments, let's assume that we have not been introduced to the biological way of understanding ourselves. And then if we don't have this way of understanding who we are, then we refer to our memory. And if you write down on a piece of paper who you are based on the place you were born, your family or the society, the nation, the job, your relationship, so all this relative way of defining yourself in terms of how you interact with the world, what is your role, you define yourself. If we don't have any of this, there is something else which we know for sure, and this is where I say that we are consciousness. We are consciousness. When I say consciousness, it is not the general way in which the world understands consciousness. We think consciousness is that we are aware of an experience. No. Now that is the general way of looking at what consciousness is. I am in consciousness and the person is out of consciousness, unconscious, all those things. Now these are all referring to the fact that somebody, an individual, is inanimate from the person who's looking at another person. So the person might look inanimate, he's not moving, and we say the person is unconscious. This is not what consciousness is, especially philosophically and spiritually. When we are talking about consciousness, please note that this is not the definition of consciousness. Here consciousness is the manifest. I have told it multiple times, the manifest. What it means is, it's very obvious, it's everywhere. The physical world, what we call, so that is one aspect of consciousness. It is an awareness of something being here. So that's something, the manifest is one aspect. And if we are also referring to another dimension of consciousness, that is pure consciousness, that is a simple awareness. From this perspective, there is an awareness of everything, and there is an aware space. It does not need any language. If you want to discover who you truly are, biology is there, but I'm telling you that keeping it aside for some time, you are not going to lose your identity. You are just exploring, you are becoming curious again. It is true, absolutely true. Biology is a reflection of that pure consciousness. When that infinity localizes itself from the human perspective, there is a motion happening, there is a causality of what all the elements are needed for that animation to happen in not just the human body, any sentient being. So this is not denial of the biological way of understanding ourselves, but it is extremely limited. We are hung up on understanding ourselves dualistically. That is not the answer, and all the psychological problems we deal with, ultimately a psychologist will know it has to do with the identity, and there is a whole landscape of memories within a human being. Depending on who you identify as, particular memory stays underneath everything, or it can pop up depending on the trigger of the outside world. Now this is where you are vulnerable to all the negative emotions if it were to come up, and it can also give some positive emotions as well, pleasant emotions too. But it is unstable, it is not in your control. You is what we are looking at, that you are control. Who are you? Who are you right now without these concepts and memories of your past? What do you know for sure in this moment? Yes, there is a body, no denial, we are not denying it. All we know is this bundle of sensations, a moment within the space which we are aware of. So coming back to defining consciousness. So consciousness has two dimensions to it. One is before it even comes into play as this universe, all the causal link, which the scientific way of understanding the world. Even before that is happening, it's in time. Of course, the causality happens in time, and even before that time is, or we can say that motion is happening, there is a infinite vibration, a stillness. The time is not even born there. So now that is pure consciousness, pure potential, which is, I keep saying potential many times in every video. I will say this. I mean, I don't want to find some new fancy word. So I really hope that whoever listens to this, it could be 1, 2, 3, 4 people, I don't know what. If no one also, I'm sure that at least I am creating this space where this light of pure knowing is spread out in the space in which I'm recording. Some might not even know that they are in the space of pure knowing. So I just hope anyone who is open enough will see this light of pure consciousness, which itself is manifesting as this entire universe. And you wake up this lifetime, we do our things, we do our achievements, the societal achievements, after which that includes everything. Some are extremely beautiful, some are very natural, but we hardly differentiate between these natural desires with the desires that is meant to play a role in covering up that void, that sadness you bury yourself with other activities. Yeah, everyone has it. I mean, at different levels. It could be like extreme sadness, which can lead to depression in this world, or some level of subtle sadness, and all you need is a cup of coffee to cover it up. So we all have different ways of patching up that unpleasant feeling, and it has to do with you mistaking yourself to be this limited biological movement or psychological being. It is just one aspect of who you are. This is an instrument for us to thoroughly experience this world, and when we make mistakes in not experiencing the world as it is supposed to be intimately, when we don't do it, your body registers it as pain and suffering. Now this is a hint for you to correct the path. If you're in the right moment in your life where you have questioned enough about the nature of your being, at least if you have begun the journey, conscious journey towards self-realization, realizing who you are is not just this limited body-mind complex, but the consciousness which itself is everything, the animate and inanimate, and you realize that, and you don't need thoughts, you just experience the world as it is. You do not confuse a language, do not confuse a symbol to be the truth. When you read something, you see a word to be a word, and if it is pointing to some behavior of the world, you make use of your imagination and you come out of it. You are not hung up in the space of imagination and memories. That is a disaster. This humanity is stuck in imagination. We have emphasized imagination too much, overactivated the imagination of being, because that robs you of this moment, the manifestation, the huge infinite thing, the world, universe. We are not experiencing it as it is because there is always a cloud of memories and structures in your head which blocks you from seeing the world as it is. It takes time. For the ones ready, you start your journey, conscious journey now. Thousands of years. It should be a collective awakening of every human being. It's a localization of the same infinity, and this as well. Having recognized this, I just wish, and I want to contribute whatever way it is. A small way is good enough for me at this point, because humans are not yet ready. They are still happy with the story of the world, unless and until there is a big jerk that comes up in their life. Not just the death of a family member, but it will be a break, a disaster in the routine of their life. The routine is no more there. That is when an opportunity opens up. If you're all happy and moving along, there is no reason for you to ask the existential questions of who you are right now. There is no reason at all, unless and until you have this event in life which makes you question again all the basic existential questions, going back to what is this world, who am I. It's a natural process. It can be human-made disaster, or it could be human is also nature. Human-made disaster is a natural disaster as well, because we are not apart from the nature. Or it could be a terraform related disaster. It could be a natural disaster of rains, floods, earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, I don't know, tsunamis. Yeah. So we all have seen too many movies, and we know how a tsunami looks like and what to do. Anyway, so the point being, you can either wait for such an event to happen to start your awakening journey, or you can just go directly and access that curiosity which you have as a child, which you had. Access that curiosity and contemplate who is here. And I have told already, this is not a path of denial. I'm not trying to deny the biological way and the story way, the roles which you play in your life. So all these are the ways in which you know yourself. So without denying it, go neutral, become very neutral, and explore who are you. What do I know for sure in this moment? There is an awareness which knows everything, and there is an experience around me. That's all. These are the only two things you know. The reflected consciousness, or the manifest world, or the pure consciousness, or just the awareness of the world. You realize this, you stay in this space long enough, and you will understand. You will gain insight into a lot of unanswered questions related to probably the death of who dies in this body, or what is this game about, what is everyone seeking, truly seeking, and you see things as it is. Thank you.